To clarify, not everybody, but enough to make a video about it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Zaria Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. So, if you guys happen to like that, or you just happen to like my gorgeous face, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post, which happens to be on Mondays and on Fridays. Hi besties. If you can't tell, I'm still very much sick, but I'm in the phase of my sickness to where I'm like really loopy and like high energy, so we're getting a new Zaria today. Also, new candle. It's gigantic, right? My mom got it for me. I need to move Deadpool. My mom got this candle for me, and it is quite literally like bigger than my head. Like, it is humongous candle, but it's very, wait, just me going to Starbucks. It's a hibiscus blossom candle from, I believe, Marshall's or TJ Maxx, one of those two. But talk about today's video. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about wanting to be famous, and this video does kind of go with my video that I posted on Monday, which if you haven't watched that, watch it. What are you doing? You probably have nothing better to do, so that sounds like aggressive. But all that aside, this is going along the lines of like dream job. My dream job is to be an actor, and I was thinking about how everybody wants to be famous. We see in a study that was published from The Sun, it says that 75% of Gen Z and millennials choose to become a YouTuber as their desired career. It says 1 in 3 prefer YouTube, which is 34%. 18.1% says that they want to be a blogger/vlogger. 1 in 6 says they want to be a pop or movie star. Yeah, so thinking about that, I want to get into why everybody wants to be famous. So roll title card.
Everybody wants to, nobody's ashamed. Everybody wants you to know the name.
I feel like I want to bring up what comes with being famous. Why a person, would want to acquire fame. What possibly do you get when you're famous that you would not get as a normal person? And honestly, being famous, you can get, free stuff, which is always nice. You can get paid to go out, like, how celebrities will have like club performances. You make money very easily. Like the Kardashians, they exist, and a company could just pay them $100,000 to do one Instagram post, and great, that pays your bills, for the next, well, probably just for that month. But it's very easy once you're famous to get money, and who doesn't want money in the capitalist society that we currently have, where everybody is poor and nobody can afford to live, Like I said, reference other video that I posted on Monday. But celebrities get special treatment. Celebrities can do pretty much whatever they want. You know how they say, like, there's like crimes you commit when a celebrity commits a crime? Well, unless it's like, something serious. Typically, they do fine. Like, can we talk about O.J. Simpson? O.J. Simpson was a celebrity, and I think the reason why that this man is walking free today is because of how famous he was. And there's just so much that comes with being famous. And these are all positive things. I'm against the negatives later. But when you think about just breaking down fame, you're admired by everyone, and being able to see your name in lights. Like, we've all seen Chicago, or if you're not a theater kid, watch Chicago. It's such a great show. But like, we all want to see our name in lights. We want to be able to create things. We don't want to be stuck in an office, withering away. Like, we just want to, do what we do. Like, I would love to do this, full time, and, not having to clock into work, like I mentioned in my other video. But those are just all the things that come with being famous that, like, is on the surface level. You get to go to award shows. You get to be adjacent to other celebrities. And let's say, for instance, you end up dating Harry Styles, or that one girl who matched with Jerry Trainer on Bumble and then posted all about it on social media, which, if I matched with a celebrity on any dating app, I would not tell anybody. I would keep that to myself unless we started dating. Then I'd be like, yeah, I met them on this dating app. But like, I would not just be advertising that I matched with celebrities like that. But all this to say, those are the things that come with being famous, right? So now I want to talk about why I particularly would like to be famous. Well, ever since I was little, I've been the center of attention. Now let me backtrack. Ever since I was younger, I remember like going to the movies, or I'd watch movies and I would be glued to the screen because all that I wanted to do was to do what they were doing, you know? Specifically when I was younger, I really wanted to be a singer. That dream is mostly dead, but I would see Kanye West on screen and I would just be like, I want to do that. Or Charlie's Angels, love Charlie's Angels. And I would see like Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu and Cameron Diaz and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. That's so fun. And I just loved acting. I thought that was what I do think. That's like what I'm put on this earth to do, to bring smiles to the masses. But for me, I've always wanted to be not necessarily famous, but the things that I want to do also are adjacent to being famous. I told my mom about this earlier today, but I was like I want to be an actor, but if I could be an actor and just do that, I wouldn't care about the fame part. I would just want to do like acting, or I like to do like YouTube and social media stuff, and I would like to do that, you know, but that comes with being famous. I don't really like being the center of attention like that much, even though people say like, oh, you're a Leo, you love being the center of attention. I actually hate being the center of attention. But things that I want to do are adjacent to being the center of attention. And while Madison Brown, which I love her videos, she's so sweet, she made a video about why Gen Z wants to be famous, or why she wants to be famous. And I think it was a really good video. You definitely should watch it. But for me personally, it's not the fame that I crave, it's just the career that I crave, and that just happens to come with fame. While it would be nice though to get free things and to be, you know, living the life, because who wouldn't want to, you know? It's just something that I think about. But the concept of being famous is just so weird to me, and this is kind of why I want to be famous, because I just want to be loved. I'm quite lonely these days. So being able to interact with people online and talk to people is like my favorite thing to do. And that is kind of why I want to be famous, if you would like to know a little bit more about me. But now I'm going to get into this article that I read on Medium by Amir Yawari. I put it on the screen. He says, and I quote, "Apparently, famous people seem to get many benefits that everyday people don't. This makes people believe that life is a lot easier for a famous person. They believe that being famous solves all problems, poverty, neglect, rejection, and lack." And so on, right? We think about it. Everybody wants to be loved. I don't know a person who wouldn't want to be loved, you know, from just basic surface level. People, you know, want to have power. They want to have money, and fame just happens to come with that, you know. And I think that living in America specifically, everybody's poor. The majority of people in America like live in poverty, so it makes sense as to why a person would want to, you know, have their rags to riches story, you know. I will say that even though fame can be very tricky and difficult, I think that when we see on social media and we see on TV these rich people living in their gigantic houses in the hills and being insanely rich and having all those cars, like watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, man, I used to get jealous of just how much money that they had and how much recognition you get. And I would love to go to award shows and meet with famous people. I just spit. Meet with famous people. Like, I would love to do all of those things. I'm sure anybody would love to do those things, you know, and just to be able to live carefree and not worry about literally your next bill that you have due. Because, man, once you get bills, it's over. So it's like people just want to have security, and so, you know, being an actor sometimes isn't as secure, and being a reality TV show, like, it's a little bit more secure. Social media is also a very like unstable income, but I think people just crave like the want to be loved by many people. So yeah, that's at least my thoughts on it. Next, I want to touch on the problems that come with being famous. Now, granted, I am not famous, but I've seen way too much stuff. I have a video where I talk about the problem with stans and stan culture. And if you don't know, stan means stalker fan. That's not something that you should be like, yeah, I stan such and such person, because that means that you stalk such and such person, you know, in theory. But the thing about fame and the cons that come with it, I think that people will be like, oh, well, the risk, or the, what is it, like, oh, the benefits outweigh the bad stuff. You can tell I'm sick and I'm just dazed. Allison Stoner made a video where she talks about the toddler to train wreck industrial complex, which is a really great video, and I think you definitely should watch it. It's very interesting and informative, especially coming from her, as she started out, like, what was she, like 3 or 4, you know, being an actor. And I will say that there is a stark difference between being famous when you're younger versus getting famous when you're older, but it's still not 1,000% like a good thing, you know. I would say that things that come with fame people might not realize is extreme drug abuse. You know, the amount of celebrities that are in and out of rehab, getting DUIs. And in the 2000s, it was really fun and funky and fresh to see Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears get into all of their shenanigans. But like, that's mental health. That's someone's mental health literally disintegrating in front of your eyes. We see influencers now, like I know specifically on Twitter. I don't think I'm ever going to stop talking about Tana Mojo. It's a problem. I grew up watching her. It's, you know, whatever. But like, for instance, Tana Mojo, like in a lot of her recent paparazzi videos, people were noticing how like she looks like she's on drugs and not like, you know, the, you know, family friendly drugs like weed, but like she's on something like hard. You know, we see so many celebrities that are dealing with like heroin addiction, meth addiction, so many like things that come with it, because like there's so much pressure on you being famous and there's so much pressure to be perfect. And I think that some people don't really realize that when they're like, oh, I want to be famous. And it's like, I know not every single person who's famous ends up abusing drugs. That's, you know, that's not the case, but we do see a lot of musicians and people famous just overdose and just go through so many horrible things. And I think that's something to also note. Also, we have people that will use you for your money or your fame, or in the social media realm, they use the term clout. Now clout, I thought we were talking about what clout is, but clout is just like basically your fame you have on social media. And I think it's interesting to think about that a lot of people will become friends with people that they don't necessarily like all that much, just because of the social standing that that other person has. Like, for instance, with the whole Mike and Lana Rhoades situation, one of his pros of being with Lana Rhoades was that, oh, like, she's famous, like I could like get fame from her, it's good for my business to be with her. And it's like, these are real people with real experiences and real situations, and like, you probably shouldn't, like, you know, qualify a relationship by how much they can give you in terms of like fame, you know. But people will use you, you know, for because of how famous you are. And sometimes people aren't really like, you know, noticing that. Or like, for instance, there are famous people who will take advantage of like money, you know. So like, for instance, Kanye West's cousin that stole his laptop and then made him pay him $10,000 in order to get his laptop back, which is crazy. Like, laptops don't cost that much, but it's like taking advantage of people for their money. And when you're famous, you have a lot of money. You can do whatever you want with it, really. But people will use that against you, and they will become friends with you. They will snivel their way into your life just to get what they want and then dip, which people do that to me now. So I can only imagine being like famous and like actually being like worth something, you know. Or people who are famous also have difficulty finding friends for that same reason, because it's like, is this person trying to use me? And it's very lonely. So I can understand why influencers will stay friends with influencers, and why celebrities, like traditional celebrities, will only date other traditional celebrities, because it's like hard to find like a normal person to be friends with that isn't going to see you as, oh my god, you're Kim Kardashian. Or, I mean, celebrities think like that anyways. Like, for instance, with Beyonce, like Beyonce is a celebrity of celebrities. But thinking about how someone can literally use you for simply existing, and it's probably very lonely and isolating. And unless you come up with all your friends, for instance, on social media, like if all of your friends grow together, then that's one thing. But like, once you're already famous and you're alone and you want to make friends, but those people are just trying to use you for whatever, you know, it starts to get very like, you know, it pulls at you, and you're like you're genuinely alone, which, you know, nobody wants that. Next, we have the fact that celebrities and influencers have no privacy. The amount of paparazzi videos that I see, which I feel like a lot of people still call on the paparazzi, and they'll be like, oh, I'm, you know, leaving here, you know. But I feel like for the most part, people who are celebrities have literally no privacy. Paparazzi have a video on it. You can watch it if you want. But paparazzi are literally so vicious when it comes to famous people. That's how Britney Spears ended up being like Britney Spears. They say Princess Diana, the reason why she, you know, I shouldn't joke. The reason Princess Diana is no longer with us is because they were trying to avoid paparazzi. That's what they say. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't even alive yet. But like having no privacy, like you can't even like walk out of your house like wearing like nothing, or like wearing like typical clothes, because they're gonna be like, oh wow, Addison Rae was outside wearing sweatpants and a hoodie. Like look at how lame she is, you know, something dumb like that. And I think it's stupid to like care so much about people, but like that's their thing. Like they're celebrities, like they're meant there to be looked at. So yeah. And lastly, I want to talk about stalkers. Now, stalkers, you can have one without being famous. I had a stalker at one point. I'm not going to make a story about it though, because that was just a very difficult situation to deal with. But stalkers are really scary, and when you're famous like that, it can get even worse. And then you might have even more stalkers. And stalkers can get dangerous. They can break into your house. They can just do all types of stuff, and that's not okay. And it's scary, the amount of celebrities that have like slews of stalkers just like showing up out of nowhere, you know? But yeah, my final thoughts are that being famous is something that's cool, fun, funky, and fresh. I don't think that it's like generally a bad thing to want to be famous, but I think that it's in like same way with any career, you shouldn't romanticize anything. Even if you were like running away to Europe and you want to start your own little coffee shop, there's still going to be issues that come along with that. We shouldn't romanticize careers, because bad things can happen. Being famous is sometimes not a good thing. Like when Kim Kardashian got robbed in Paris, and was traumatized and like could not go back to Paris for so long because of that situation. Like being famous sometimes is not a good thing. Being easily recognizable is also not a very good thing. There's no sense of privacy. I think that that's something to think about when you want to talk about being famous, because while it's nice to be loved, it's nice to have a bunch of followers on social media, it's nice to have people engaging with you all the time, but being famous can be very, very lonely unless you have people to go there through it with you. And then when you go through it with you, you're like, oh crap, they might be using me. Like the fact that like Quenlin, TikToker, she's friends with Lil Nas X, Billie Eilish, she lived with Diplo. It's crazy. It's crazy how fame works, and TikTok and all of that stuff. But yeah, that's my video. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, because it really, 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 really helps small channels like mine. Make sure to also subscribe. I just hit 3,000 subscribers, and I'm very happy for that. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, that's, I don't have anything else to say. So make sure to stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys.